You ever bought a cheap countertop ice maker because the price looked right, only to end up with half-melted clumps that never quite work in a cocktail? I've seen that happen a lot. People think any ice maker will do and then spend weeks wrestling with a machine that can't keep up, leaks, or just stops making nugget ice altogether. The regret is real, especially when you're trying to run a small office break room or a home bar that needs consistent, chewable ice for drinks and food prep. So the question is, does the Manitowoc commercial countertop nugget ice maker and dispenser actually feel like a smarter buy, or is it just another pricey piece of equipment that will sit idle after a few weeks? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a good chunk of last month testing the Manitowoc CNF0201A in two very different environments: a bustling coffee shop kitchen that needs ice for smoothies and a home setup where I'm trying to keep a weekly party stocked. My goal was to see whether the hype around commercial grade really translates into everyday reliability, and whether the extra cost over a typical home model actually saves you time, headaches, and money in the long run. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have is the fear of overpaying for something that's built for a restaurant but never gets used at that level. The Manitowoc's compact countertop design is meant to fit on a standard prep table without hogging space, and that's a real advantage if you're limited to a small kitchen footprint. I placed it right next to my espresso machine, and the footprint is about the size of a medium microwave, nothing that forces you to rearrange your whole layout. The touchless dispensing system is another point that caught my eye because it promises a hands-free experience, which is handy when you're juggling a latte and a sandwich. In practice, you just hover your cup under the spout and the sensor triggers a short burst of nugget ice. It's not a full-size door that you have to open and close. The dispenser actually feels smooth and consistent, which is a relief compared to some home units that either flood your counter or barely release any ice. Now, let's talk about daily usability. In the coffee shop scenario, the machine was running almost non-stop during the morning rush, cranking out nugget ice for blended drinks and iced coffees. The efficient and reliable claim holds up here. The unit didn't need any manual clearing of ice jams, and the ice quality stayed uniform throughout the day. The nuggets were the kind that melt slowly, keeping drinks cold without turning watery in 5 minutes. For a home user, you might not need that level of output, but the same reliability means you can fill a large pitcher in under a minute and have enough ice for a weekend gathering without watching the timer tick forever. However, there are hidden trade-offs that you won't see on the spec sheet. The machine draws a decent amount of power, which is expected for a commercial-grade compressor. If you're plugging it into a standard kitchen outlet, you'll notice a modest bump in your electric bill if you keep it running 24/7. That's why I recommend using the built-in timer or simply turning it off after you've filled your ice bin for the day. The bin itself holds enough ice for about 3,040 drinks, so it's fine for a small office or a home party, but you'll start feeling the limitation if you try to serve a full-scale event. The durable exterior stainless steel with a matte finish does a good job of hiding fingerprints and minor scratches, but it also means that any water spill from the dispenser can leave a ring if you don't wipe it quickly. It's not a deal-breaker, just something to keep in mind for high-traffic areas. Who should buy this thing? If you run a small CAF, a catering service, a boutique bar, or even a busy household that regularly entertains, the Manitowoc offers a level of consistency that cheaper models simply can't match. The commercial-grade compressor means you get ice faster and with less downtime, and the touchless dispenser is a genuine convenience when you have multiple orders coming in. It also appeals to people who love the texture of nugget ice, those little soft cubes that chew like a snowball and don't dilute drinks as quickly as crushed ice. On the flip side, if you're just looking for an occasional ice maker for a single family and you're happy with a batch of cubes once a week, you might be better off with a less expensive home-focused unit. The upfront price of the Manitowoc is higher, and you'll only see the value if you actually use it frequently enough to justify that cost. Practical strengths, in my view, revolve around 3 things: speed, consistency, and the hands-free dispensing. The machine starts producing nugget ice in about 10 minutes after you press start, which is quick enough for a lunch rush but also acceptable for a home setting where you can plan ahead. The